Hello, everyone. Tonight's podcast is on the sex ed session that Our Secret Spot recently had, and wanted to let you know that if you like the content of this, then you should go to their website, www.oursecretspot.com.au, and check out future events. They're going to have these sex ed sessions pretty regularly. The next one is on Friday, October 28th, and it is on G-spot massage. And I think it's also going to include some clitoral stimulation information as well. Miss Jiff will be conducting the class, as she did the last one. And when it comes to the live demonstration part of the class, I'm going to be the live model. So if you're interested to meet us and learn a little something about G-spot and clitoral stimulation, then come on out to Our Secret Spot, and you can get tickets from their website as well.
So I was in the shower, I was cleaning my ass and making all shirts all sparkly, spanky clean.
I'm not the funny one, I'm the pretty one.
Cock shots. I just checked myself out.
Candles, music, wine, and then lube up and get on top.
The glory hole's like a dick theater. I've imagined your friend.
Which means your pants had better come off. Mama needs playtime.
We're not sluts.
We just love love.
Hello, everyone. This is Mrs. Atom,
This is Mr. Adam.
and you're listening to us here on By the By.
Yes, you are.
Is that all you have to say? Wow.
Welcome.
Mr. Adam is silent for once.
Yeah, yes, I'm tired. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah.
But I'm here eating my strawberries, sexy foods, and we have red wine, more sexy foods.
Yes, all delicious all together. Have
You're
we
going to
had...
hear me sucking on strawberries all night, folks.
Well, that's like a normal evening, Mr. Adam sucking away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show me your strawberries.
Have we had anything exciting going on?
I think the exciting stuff that's been going on will be probably what we're going to be talking about tonight, and potentially next week.
We did have a
What did we have?
very nice evening with Sandy and Danny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went out to their place and had a very entertaining night, dinner, whatnot, hanging out with them. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Stayed the night.
Recorded a couple of podcasts, so
Yep.
at some point you'll hear those.
Yep.
We're not sure when those are going to be released, but that was
You'll
kind of
hear
fun.
it at some point, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a
Be
really,
patient.
really good evening. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what's going on. I forgot about that.
You just follow the calendar.
I do.
Yeah.
I do with the calendar, and you tell me to.
Show up here at this time, dressed like this.
Yes. Take my pants off. Mm-hmm. You know, par for the course.
The typical stuff. Yeah.
The typical stuff. Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really have anything else exciting. I've got
Okay.
a new date on Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
You have something coming up Wednesday night, which we'll probably end up podcasting about.
Yes, I suspect so.
Do you want to give a hint?
Well, I can go ahead and tell people. I'm going to, because it'll be after the fact anyway, but I'm going to go to the Skirt Club meeting, which is a fairly new thing, I think, here in Sydney. So it's supposed to be, girls getting together and a place to kind of explore and play a bit without the boys. So that should be interesting.
Girls watching girls watching girls watching girls.
I'm not sure. I sort of have an idea what to expect, but I don't really know what to expect.
You have no idea what to expect.
A little bit, but I have a feeling I might be a little disappointed, but we'll see.
Get in line, kid.
We shall see. So anyway, we'll have that on a future episode.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I look forward to talking to you about that. And then I've got the same night, I've got a date with a new fella.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. I'm feeling a little mellow. You're going to have to ramp me up.
All right. So we're going to talk about what we did on Friday night?
Let's do that. Woo!
And what did we do? Do you remember?
Not really. Yeah, we had some good alcohol.
A little, yeah. Not too much.
Yeah. What did we do? I know what we did.
Finally.
I know,
the
right?
light bulb went off.
It's been a long weekend. So it's a 3-day weekend, and this was Friday night, so I'm a little, you'll have to forgive me.
It's been a while.
But we went to OSS, Our Secret Spot here in Sydney, and they did a kind of awesome sex ed the first of what I hope to be many sex ed thingies. Yeah, classes. There's the word. Yeah. I don't know. Class seems like really so formal, and this was organized,
seminar?
but not formal.
What about a seminar?
Seminar, yes. Seminar for men, ovular for women.
Oh, God, that was terrible.
Hey,
that was bad.
I'm just trying to be helpful. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less help next time.
Right. Yeah, so it was hosted at our secret spot. So before we went there, you and I met at the Owl House, which anybody who lives in Sydney, go to the Owl House. The drinks there are amazing. We met there and then wandered over to OSS about... The thing started at 7:30. I think we got there at like 10 after,
7:15,
quarter past, yeah. And when we got there was a line to get into the door, which I think is a great idea, or a great sign for a great idea. And the nice lady who was asking people to come in was asking are you guys new here? Are you guys new here? And I know the couple two in front of us were new and had never been, which is, I think, again, that just shows that this is a good idea.
There were quite a few that I heard that were new.
Getting new blood into the
I don't know how many of the new ones actually stuck around afterwards, but I do know there were quite a few new ones coming.
I need to ask the law, and I actually meant to do that today to see if he had a number on how many new folks stayed.
Yeah.
But we'll figure that out for next time.
But all in all, there were 22 people we counted for the class.
Including us.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So it was hosted by OSS, and it was the seminar was given by a lady named Mischief, which I think is the greatest name ever. MSJIF.
MIS, isn't it?
Is it MISS?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just one S.
Oh.
I have her card in the other room.
Yeah. I reckon I go fetch it. I'll go fetch it. All right.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves, ladies and gents.
Well, I was going to say, while you're fetching it, I can just look her up very quickly on the Googles. Because I am pretty sure that it is Mischief, MISJIF. And what is it? What's the verdict?
The verdict is you were right. It's MISJIF. You can find her on the website, www.misjif.com.au. You can email her at jo at missgif.com.au. Awesome.
She was a fantastic presenter.
Yeah, a sexology coach, has a great demeanor, great presentation skills, very organized. All in all, I was like, I was impressed. This is badass. Yeah. I was expecting a solid 6 to 7 out of 10, and I think what I got was a really strong 9 out of 10. Yeah. It was good. But yeah, so like I said, she's a sexology coach, and she, gosh, we all sat down, and it was a pretty. I'd say more diverse crowd than I expected.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely more women than men, but at least...
I would say probably 60% women, 40% men, so there was still a fair number of men there.
Yeah, and so that was interesting. Do we want to talk about the crowd a bit now, or do we want to...
Sure, let's go for it.
So I remember we sat in the middle, and to our left were a large group, a group of women that clearly were together. Yeah. To our right was a couple of young ladies who had come together. Directly to our left was a couple that wore masks. Mm-hmm.
It was not masquerade night, but they wore masks.
But whatever.
If it makes you comfortable and you're happy, so
that goes back to growing up in the South. I will never forget that whole question. People go into adult shops or whatever, and the question was always, "What do you do if you see someone who you know there?" I'm like, well, you say hi and then you walk on. The point is, we're all there for the same reason. I don't see why you have to hide yourself. So,
admittedly, at first I thought that was why they wore the masks. But afterwards, as the evening went on, because they did stay, I think it became quite clear that they just wanted to. That was just them. I don't think it was because of any kind of...
Do you think they were Batman?
Maybe. She would have been Batwoman, but yeah.
Yeah. I like Batman better.
Okay.
But
Sure.
not that
Two
Batman.
Batmans?
Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with some clever bat mitzvah thing, but I can't. So I'll just say bat mitzvah, and you'll laugh like it's funny, like you just did.
But there was a couple to my right, and I talked to him a little bit. This was their first time there, and they had come with a couple that was sitting kind of behind us.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, I never turned around and looked because that always feels rude to me to be like, oh, I'm going to scope. I'm scoping this place out. Hello. I don't want to do that. But I was glad you did.
Yeah.
It's easier for you to do that because you're cute and like, oh, look, I'm just looking around. And you're like shoving your breasts in everybody's face. Me, I'm like, hey. That's it. That's all I got.
Wow.
That's
Surely you can come up with something better than that.
How ya?
So yeah, it did seem as if there were a few couples that were clearly just couples, but then there were a fair number of groups of 4 to 6, I would say, that came together.
Yes. So, which was cool.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And the couple in front of us and to the left a bit, they were first timers here. I did overhear that they had been to the couples club before, but they had never been to OSS. They didn't stay, which is a shame because both of them were cute.
Yeah, that is a shame.
But maybe if we had said hi to them, it's so funny because in normal situations, I'm a little more talkative than I was Friday night.
Yeah.
I was tired. I wasn't feeling myself. It'd been it was the last day of the business quarter for work, and it's because it was the last business day of September.
Yeah.
And it's the last day of our quarter, and it's just like ugh. So I was a little drained, and I wasn't the bright, effervescent me that I normally am.
You're pretty good. But I think you got better as the night went on,
I did.
too.
Yeah. I did get better because so I also went through that. I didn't want to drink too much alcohol, but alcohol takes the negativity of work away.
Yeah.
So I was in a bad place. I didn't want to drink too much, but I needed to drink more than I had drank, if that makes sense.
Right. And as the night went on, you drank a little more.
I did. I finished the bottle of wine.
Yes.
Anyway, so that was a crowd. It was a very good crowd.
It was
I would
a good
say
crowd.
average age was probably 35.
I would have said mid-30s. There were a few younger, a few probably older, but I would say average of.
But it was a good
mid-30s.
age. It was a good. It was a good age range as well. So that was a plus. So Mischief gets up there and she starts her spiel. She, spoiler alert, went for an hour, which I think. So I guess I didn't even talk about the subject matter.
I was waiting for that.
I don't know. So the subject matter was blowjobs and manual stimulation for men.
Giving good head.
Giving good head.
Yes.
Which I will say, I walking into this, I thought, I'm going here for moral support. I'm going here to show I want to support OSS because I think this is a bloody good idea, but I'm not going to gain anything from this. That's honestly what I thought. I have performed enough head that I'm like, dude, if I don't know it by now, it can't be known. That's what I thought. How about you? What did you think?
I would say that I felt similarly, but I was kind of secretly hoping that there was like one little gem or something that I could take away that I didn't know.
Ooh, I like that. And I can't wait to know if you found one of those, but we'll save that for the end.
Okay.
Okay. Keep talking.
Oh, well, no, I thought you were going to go on with the subject matter.
Oh, is it? Yeah, we clearly prepared for this.
Yeah, Mischief got up there and started the presentation, and I will say that she dealt very well with the crowd. There were a few people, I would say one or two in particular.
There was one.
Yeah, and she was
obnoxious.
She was continually yelling things out and inappropriately at inappropriate times, saying things very loudly, and it was really very out of place. But I think that Mischief handled it incredibly professionally.
She handled it better than I would have handled it. I was sitting back there. I think I was getting madder and madder. I'm like, you know what? Shut the fuck up. You have nothing to add to this.
Yeah, and she did eventually, I think, kind of peak that drunk curve and started on the slide down and got a little quieter.
Yeah, she became sleepy.
But I think that Mischief handled it incredibly well.
I agree.
So
I would have to
kudos to her for that.
1,000,000%. This poor lady was drunk, and it was one of those things that she just. I don't know. She was every negative Valley girl stereotype that you could ever put into one. So the one that still sticks out in my brain was when Mischief said something about playing with testicles or balls, and the girl goes, "Yeah, woo! Tell us about the balls. What do we do with the balls? What do I do with balls?" And the whole room sort of went silent. And everybody kind of looked at her, and she goes, "Balls." Wow. Yes. Don't touch my balls. That's what I'm saying. If that's how you respond to balls, young lady, please stay away from mine. Thank you. But they initially tried to talk to us when we first sat down, and you and I both looked at them probably with Mrs. Adam has this beautiful, lovely clinical stare that if you ask her something stupid and she looks at you with this clinical stare, you suddenly feel like you're under a microscope. And I feel like that's what she got from both of us, that you're kind of we don't want to talk to you, which we are lovely people, I think. And
admittedly, I don't know if I gave her that look or not, because I don't really know when I do that. It just happens.
It just happens.
You
gave her that look, and I was like, good for you, because this girl's obnoxious. And I don't want to. We're not better than anybody. But we do know proper decorum.
Well, and I also like how when Mischief very first started the talk, she said, "There's a lot of material to get through. We're gonna, please hold all questions until the end."
Clearly, the end was 7 minutes later.
I was gonna say not even 2 minutes later. The one girl was like, "Question." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
When are we gonna get to the shaft? Young lady, we all got shafted when you joined. God, I sound like a bitch, and I am being a little bit of a bitch, but at the same time,
it was she was obnoxious, but it wasn't. It was. I'm going to say not frequent enough to ruin the experience.
I would totally agree. Totally. I was worried within the first 10 minutes that it was going to be one of those things where I think what helped the situation was, again, going back to Mischief and how she handled it, she just would look at the girl and go, "Yeah, I'm getting it," and then move along. Right. I mean, she barely acknowledged her when she was being silly.
Yeah.
When she asked a good question, she actually acknowledged her, which for me, I would find a hard balance for that. It was like, I would want to be like, "I'm never going to talk to you. Go away."
Right.
But she handled it with much greater grace than I think I would have. But yeah, it was just kind of funny because, I think everybody at times was looking at her going, "Why are you still talking?" So yeah. Do we want what kind of subject matter did we go into?
So the first thing that she went over was the overall technique and I'm going to say positions, as far as making sure that you're comfortable, and when I'm going to say you as then the one giving head,
Me?
Well, whoever, the greater you, the listener out there, when you're giving head, she was just talking about overall positioning and making sure that you're comfortable, and positioning yourself in a way that is appealing depending on the situation. So if there's a particular body part that your partner is fascinated with, try to get that close to them, so that's what they're looking at, because the whole thing was it's not just manual and oral stimulation. You also have to stimulate the brain. And so if your partner, likes a particular part of your body, make that visible and make that, accessible to them. And also making sure that you're comfortable and can do whatever you need to do later on and that kind of thing. So she was talking a bit about the just overall kind of setup scenario, positioning yourself, positioning your partner, whether they're laying down, whether they're standing up, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and I thought there were some good key points there, and the whole sort of making sure that your partner, and I know one of the things she had said was, "Guys, what do you do with your hands?"
Yes.
And so I know it at times even I'm like, "Gee, I wonder what I should be doing with my hands," and I know for me, I like to cup your ass.
Right.
I like to lay my hand along your back, and I find myself quite often just sort of lightly stroking your back. I don't know why, but I find it's comforting for me. I don't know what you think about it. I sort of care, but at the time you're doing your business, and I'm like, I like this.
Honestly, as long as it doesn't hurt, I don't think I really even notice.
Occasionally I will find that I do like, and she commented on this, the whole doing the head thing where you kind of push the head down. But I try not to do that because having had that done to me, it's a good feeling. It's like, oh yeah, they're like, grr. But I don't want to be, suffocating and choking to death at the same time.
It can be a good feeling. And that's the fine balance that I think the guy has to find, is being able to do that and not suffocate whoever's giving them head, because that's, not exactly pleasant for the person who's doing it.
Yeah, it can be almost claustrophobic if somebody does that to you. You're like, okay, I'm going to die. So this ain't a snorkel.
Yeah, and so there's a fine balance of, putting pressure on the head and maybe guiding them in a certain direction without actually precluding anything. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, and so I thought that was a good point. She made a good point there. And then she talked a bit about the different types of lubes. Yep. We're not going to go through all those lubes, but there's like six types. Six different types. So Mrs. Adam was smart enough to take notes, which again, sort of a nod to OSS. There were clipboards, pens, and notepad paper so that you could take notes, which I think was a great idea. So, again, nod to OSS. But so, she talked about the different lubes and the benefits, the pros and cons to each different kind. I only want to touch on two of them because I think they're the two most, maybe three, but because they're the most common, which was the water-based lubes, which we all know and love, like KY jelly, etc.
They're the most common ones you're going to find at the grocery store, the chemist, pharmacy, wherever.
And I know she talked about the benefits of them from her perspective, which was a lot more scientific than what I'm going to go into. But for me, the big benefits are they don't stain. They tend to disappear pretty quickly, and then they have very little to no taste, which I kind of like that for a lube, especially if you're going to be using your mouth and your hands at the same time. But then the second type that she touched on was the silicone-based lube. Right. And I know, one of the nice big benefits to silicone is that it sticks around for a while and it has this wonderful feel.
So you don't have to reapply as often.
I love masturbating with silicone lube. That's sort of my go-to. Because once it's on, it's on. It's a little harder to wash off. It will stain your sheets and clothes. But I like silicone.
It's nice not to have to reapply.
Yeah, it really is.
Because you don't want to be like in the middle of something and be like, oh, hold on. Let me. Little more lube, please. Yeah.
But one negative to silicone is using it with silicone toys. She sort of touched on this, but. And correct me if I'm wrong. The way I understand it is the reason you don't use silicone on silicone toys is that the silicone molecules bind together, which is why you get that kind of gummy gunkiness on silicone toys.
It can change the consistency. Yeah.
Which I know that we've got a couple of toys that we've bad-habitedly used silicone lube on, and so they don't have that same smooth. They still are fine, but they just don't have that soft smoothness that you're used to on silicone.
And I was going to say, if you do want to use silicone on a silicone toy, the best way to do that is put a condom on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that way you're protecting the toy from the lube, but you still get the longevity of the silicone lube.
But then you don't get to feel the pleasure of that soft silicone. It's a
give and take.
Yeah, make your decisions, folks. Yeah. Kind of thing. And then lastly, she touched on flavored lubes. Right. Which you and I don't use a lot. We have some that we had gotten from Max Black. Yeah. Shout out to Max Black. We got some from Max Black that's like...
it was a mocha something,
mocha
right?
Cafe. Yeah, it's like half cappuccino, half hot chocolate flavor. And I gotta be honest, I'd squirt that shit on ice cream and eat it. It's delicious.
Even I kind of like it, and I'm not a big coffee person.
But we don't use it, which is weird. Why don't we use it?
Only every now and again. But I think both of us are not terribly big on the flavored lubes.
Yeah.
partially because we're very picky with our lubes. And so before we buy them, we taste and see, does it have a flavor or does it not?
I'd rather have flavorless lube than...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes there might be a slight flavor, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. But it is one of those things...
Typically, they're medicinal flavors as well. That's what you get. It tastes almost...
Yeah.
The way you would imagine a hospital would taste.
Sure.
Yeah, think about that one. Yeah, mind's blown.
But yeah, the flavored lubes are good, particularly, like she said, I think she even mentioned this, that, if you're playing with somebody you've not played with before, or, if you're just...
Which is I thought that was probably the best defense for flavored lubes, because we've all gone down on somebody, male or female, and you're like, oh, you smell great, and then you get down to the promised land, and you're like, I think something's been sitting out in the sun too long.
Well, and everybody has a slightly different taste, different pHs, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all, everyone's a little different. And, you have to match how the other person is in order for it to be a fully enjoyable experience on both ends. And not everyone's always going to like how all their other partners taste.
Yeah.
And so that is a great time to use flavored lubes.
I've been with guys that are very alkali.
Yeah.
And you're like... this is...
And you can enjoy all the experience up until then.
Yeah.
But then there's that, and you're like, oh. And that's where a flavored lube can kind of mask that, and you can bring you back into that moment.
Totally true. And even if the lube is just smell, I mean, let's be realistic. Smell is a lot of taste. So I thought she had some... And she went into greater depth on the lubes.
Oh, absolutely,
but those, those three I thought were excellent points. And I do think using a flavored lube on a new person can be a great idea.
Yeah.
What else? You took notes.
Then she went to talk about gloves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the use of gloves.
We've never done that. Ever. Even for anal play.
You're right,
We're
haven't.
not glovey peoples.
No. Even though we have boxes of them in there.
We have boxes of gloves because I use them when dicing jalapeno peppers.
Right. And so, latex, nitrile gloves, whatever suits your fancy and your partner's fancy, because they might have a latex allergy, so please check that first.
Yeah, yes. Good point.
But they do make nitrile gloves, and she had black ones even, of course, because nitrile gloves come in all different colors.
Most commonly, though, black. They make my hands look so much bigger.
Most commonly that you can buy at the normal store is like pink, blue, or purple.
For nitrile?
Yes. Oh. Black you generally only find at like tattoo supply places and things like that. Okay. Black is a lot harder to find. But blue, pink, purple, green, those are the more common colors to find nitrile in.
Makes my hands look so much bigger.
So she talked about using gloves in play and how the change of the feeling, when using gloves versus bare hands. And
it's sort of like, guys, when you sit on your hand and then masturbate with it, it feels like someone's different.
But we've never actually done that. So,
no, I've never done that either.
I'm trying to think if I have with any other partners.
I've never played with gloves with anyone.
I don't think I have either. Not even anal or anything. No.
Which part of me is like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. The whole doctor prostate exam goes too far kind of thing. But yeah, no.
I would be curious to know from a guy's perspective. Obviously, it's going to be a different feel, but is it a good different feel? Is it just an interesting different feel? Like, where is it on the spectrum? Because from the giver's perspective, I think that it is a different feel, and there's a lack of sensitivity there. And I don't think that would be as enjoyable for me. I don't know because I haven't tried it. So I would be curious to know from the receiver's end, because it's different, does that make it just as or more pleasurable? Or after a bit, does it become not so much?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could take a break from this and give it a go.
And go give it a go and come back? Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back, folks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back now after a brief intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we gave the nitrile glove thing a try. Mr. Adam, would you like to tell your viewpoint?
Sorry, my brain is still trying to focus.
Do we need a longer break?
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like I need to stretch a bit too. So I will say that gloves slows me down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took a lot longer than I expected. When we took our break, I was like, oh, this will be a 4 to 7 minute break. and I think it ended up going for, closer to 12 to 15.
Oh, yeah, it was at least,
Yeah, at
15
least.
minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so we're back.
So how did it feel? I'm sure it felt different.
It felt different.
Was it a
okay.
good different or a bad different?
So we had to have a lot more lube.
Yes.
Which makes sense because the gloves are gloves. They're rubber.
Yeah.
And so, we kept reapplying lube. We did use water-based. We didn't have any silicone-based.
Silicone that we wanted to use, yeah.
Yeah. All of our silicone is meant to ease anal entry.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was different. It was definitely different. Mm-hmm. Is it what I want commonly? No.
But maybe a one-off?
Once in a while, that would be, it's just to be different. I think if you came in the gloves and like a lab coat or something and then some sexy lingerie under it, then I'd be like, oh, hello, that's different. I like that.
Right.
But as a normal, as a normal Thursday morning hand job, no, it is not what I'm looking for.
Not necessary.
But it was different, and I liked that. What did you think? How did it feel for you?
So for me, I will say that when giving the hand job portion, it was fine. It was good. Sure, it was a little different, but it was not different enough that I would say I don't want this. But I also, as caveat, I do wear gloves a lot during the day, so it's not like at work.
Yeah.
I'm not just, wandering around the house.
She's one of those people.
But I do wear them a lot at work, so I'm used to wearing the gloves. And so it doesn't, some people may think that it feels odd to have them on, or it may feel constricting, or, they might sweat a lot in them or whatever. But for me, it's just normal because I, have the nitrile gloves on a lot at work.
Fair enough.
So for me, as far as the hand job part goes, it was fine. It was good. I won't say it was any more or less pleasurable. But what I will say is that when I used my finger and went into you anally, there was a little less sensation there. And so that was a bit harder for me.
Okay.
Not harder, but it just, I prefer to feel a lot more.
Well, I will say as well, anally, it was a little harder because that rubber sticks.
Yeah.
And it's the same problem you have with condoms.
It's hard to reapply the lube as frequently there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's the exact same problem you have with condoms. It's just like you're constantly applying lube because that orifice has no lube, so you have to constantly reapply lube.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's easy cleanup, I guess, but...
Well, yeah, until you took the gloves off and sprayed cum all over me.
Yeah, I kind of did that on purpose a little bit.
You did. Because I just commented, I'm like, oh, well, it's going to make cleanup easy. And you were like, yeah, for me. And then whip. And then I'm splattered with cum. Yeah, no, I got to be honest. It was a new experience.
It was
and
good.
I actually kind of liked it.
I would say it's good for an overall occasional type play.
Yeah.
For something different. But I don't think it would be my go-to on a daily basis.
I agree. It's something that everybody should try, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on. How many breaks are we going to take during this podcast?
I don't know. Well, we have the next part that Miss Jiff went into where it was the hand job techniques.
Yeah, and she had a list of them.
There's 15 of them. Everybody got a takeaway with a little blurb about each of them with pictures. So if you would like to take a break and try all 15, we can go do that now.
Oh, no, I don't think I could make it through. I could make it through maybe 4 more.
Right.
But we did try a couple of them. Go ahead and we're not going to describe them all because, look, this is...
Do you want me to read them aloud?
Yeah, but that's Miss Jiff's kind of thing, and I don't want to take anything away from her and her awesome presentation skills. But I think giving the names of them will add a little bit of mystery. And if you have questions about what any of them are, I would contact her. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, we'll post her contact information on our Twitter, on our Facebook page, and on our website.
Webpage, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, there are 15.
So just as a side note, these are 15 ways to give a guy a hand job.
They're male genital massage techniques.
Yeah, I mean, which is, dude, awesome.
So number 1 is leg massage and increased blood flow. Pretty sure you guys can figure that one out.
Well, yeah.
Number 2 is the wiggle. 3 is ring balls. Ring balls.
It's my favorite Olympic sport.
4, rock around the clock.
Rocking around the Christmas clock. Wait, rock around the clock or rock around the cock? Because if it's rock around the clock, she missed a chance for an awesome pun.
It is clock.
Yeah, she missed a chance for an awesome pun.
Number 5 is Carpe Diem.
Cock a diem. I'm just going to go through.
This is going to be fun.
I'm just going to go through and rename all of hers.
Number 6 is Cock Cradling.
See, that one she has.
Yeah, yeah.
The cock's in the cradle and the silver spoon.
7, Juicer.
Well, yeah, Juicer. I barely knew her.
8 is the Fire Starter.
I'm trying to make a Stephen King reference. I don't have one.
Actually, it just says fire, but in the presentation, she kept saying fire starter.
Yeah.
So I made it that.
Fire.
Thank you, Beavis and Butthead. 9 is core vibrations.
Core vibrations.
That's exactly what I thought.
Children of the 80s.
Yes. 10 is doorknob.
Ding dong. Hello. I just realized that most of these are going to be in-jokes for you and I
know.
our listeners are going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with them two? We're not nearly as drunk as we should be to be doing this.
No, not at all. But
Anyway.
but I like that one because Book of Mormon.
Yeah. All right,
Fantastic show. 11 is milking/anvil.
So, okay, I like that one. Milking/anvil, which in my mind, one involves a cow, one involves Wile E. Coyote. We'll just let you just imagine it, folks.
12 is twist and shout.
Shake it up, baby, now. Okay.
Oh, wow. 13 is Harry Palm Sunday.
Which honestly makes me think of church because I'm Catholic. And
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God, Harry Palm Sunday.
Yep.
That's when you masturbate on the Wednesday before Easter.
Okay. 14 is cock ring. I think we can figure that one out.
Yeah. If you like it, you should have put a ring on it.
I try to put a ring on it as often as I can.
I know. I wear the ring sometimes.
I know. 15 is double whammy. And that's the final one. What do you have for us, Mr. Adam?
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of press your luck now. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, and stop. Somebody's got a messy chest.
Well, that's pretty true. I mean, you're pressing your luck every time you try things.
Every time. No, these were, honestly, going through those, a lot of them, some of them you already did. I would say, honestly, I'm a very lucky man in that of the 15, you consistently do 12 of those.
Yeah.
And she made some really good ideas about how often to do them and how often to change up,
Right.
which you do that as well. You're constantly varying the stimulation so that it's not the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So that was, I think that was, she had some really good points.
She did have some
And
very good points.
I don't know how to say this and not sound derogatory, but for someone who doesn't have a penis, that woman understands penis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which is great, because I know you're constantly saying you wish you had a cock because you would never leave the house. But for someone who doesn't have one, she understood how to make one tick.
Right. Right.
Which,
A lot of that's anatomy, and I'm sure also getting feedback and whatnot.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. But, I think it was really good. And she did have a lot of good points as she was going through them. And like you said, a lot of good tips on varying it up. Because some people do get stuck doing the same thing
I've been
over
with
and over
guys
and
that
over
do
again.
that. And it's like, at some point you're like, dude, you're going to give me a rash.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to have to change something because this is starting to hurt.
Yeah.
Talk about fire starter. I think that there's enough heat there that... That's what I imagine. That doesn't actually really happen, but I imagine... Anyway. So, yeah. All in all, the whole talk was absolutely awesome. Is there any other things you have?
We're only halfway through here, babe.
Jeez.
So then she talked about licking.
Oh, yeah, licking.
And
It's always a good thing.
Yep. So techniques and things having to do
ice
with
cream
licking.
cone.
Yep. We're not going to ruin it for everybody, but
No, but ice cream cone. Yeah.
then she talked a bit about deep throating.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had some very good suggestions on deep throating. Anybody who's ever tried to deep throat knows that gagging is often a problem.
A job hazard.
It's a job hazard. I know, right? And yeah, so She had some good things. I would say, personally, start out slow. And another tip that I have is if you press your tongue to the roof of your mouth, not to the bottom of your mouth, it'll feel like they're hitting the back of your tongue or the underside of your tongue and not actually the back of your throat. And so you don't actually have the gagging. Now, granted, the guy won't go in as far, but if you're a smaller person or, you know, you might be able to kind of fool him.
Yeah, and if they're a bigger person, you know, I mean, everybody knows, put your hand at the base, so that kind of helps to take up some slack there. Yeah.
Also, if you, when deep throating, to prevent tears.
Yep.
Because, you know, that's always a sexy thing to have, to look down at your partner and they're bawling their eyes out because you're choking them to death. If you roll your eyes back in your head, that'll prevent tearing. That's why the porn stars do it.
You won't tear up as easily.
It won't tear up. Yeah, it won't prevent it. I'm sorry, but it'll help. Alleviate it a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more you know.
So she had some good tips and things there.
Fantastic stuff.
Granted, the eyes rolling back was Mr. Adams' nice little addition there, but it works.
It works.
So, yeah. And then she talked about the ever important decision.
Yes.
Spit, swallow, or to come on someone.
All right. So, what's your favorite?
Swallow.
Really?
Occasionally, I like it when you come on me.
Yeah.
But that's usually more, I'm going to say when performing or when
you're trying to make a show,
or when cleanup is an issue. If I know that, you know, we have to go somewhere or something and need to kind of be clean, then that's
for
easier.
Sex though. I mean, because if you're swallowing, that should be the easiest way to clean up, right?
Yeah. But
wait, you just said that. Sorry. Wait, what?
It's okay. But if I'm giving a blowjob, I typically like to swallow. I never ever spit. I cannot think of any time that I've ever spit.
I've spit once, and that's because the dude was fucking vile. Yeah.
That's bad.
And I mean, the guy was great up until that point.
Yeah.
And at that point, vile.
Bad.
So, you know, not calling people out, but if you're a smoker, your semen is going to taste
And that
horrific.
was the next bit that she got to, was how to influence the taste.
And that's what this guy, I'm pretty sure he was a pretty heavy smoker. Yeah. And it was just like,
because smokers, it changes the taste of your semen. Of course, foods you eat, how hydrated you are, all of that influences, but smoking is the worst, I think, for the taste.
Yeah, and she made a really good point on pineapple, which I actually don't think I realized, which was that we all think that pineapple makes our cum taste better, but in fact, it just makes it smell better. But again, that goes back to
half the taste is smell, though.
Yeah, so, a lot of it. So,
and then she also did talk about if you are going to spit or swallow or whatever, and you don't want to taste it, you know, of course she was
how to do it.
How to do that. But I love swallowing.
See, I like coming on or being came on.
It depends, because it also depends if the guy's standing up in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, on my knees or kneeling in front of him, then I like to be come on because then it goes all over my breasts.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's just
hot.
Yeah, it feels good. You can kind of play with it, and I like to play with myself, so it kind of lends very nicely to that.
I love you.
So there are times that's a good thing. But so I think a lot of it does, for me, depend upon position. Because if the guy's laying down, then I prefer to swallow.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And I will always say I'd rather someone come on me than for me to even spit. I don't like to spit.
No.
And then, so my first choice would be come on me, swallow, and then spit. That would be my order of operations.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That was the presentation. There were some questions, and there were some very good questions from the audience.
Actually, some great questions, again, on gagging and what if he doesn't come?
What if he doesn't come?
Which I thought was a great question.
Genius, yeah.
And then there was, what was the other one? There was another question that the lady to the left had. And I thought to myself, that's a great question. Does the gagging sound? So,
yes.
Yeah, you know, when someone's going down on you, and I think this would be a great question for the listeners. Maybe I should do this as a Twitter question. When someone's going down on you, the sound of them gagging, that whatever, that's the best I can do right now without actually gagging myself.
Is it hot or not?
Is it hot or not?
Yeah.
And that's actually a great question.
Yeah.
I would sort of like to know what people think.
And it was interesting because as soon as she asked it, you could hear the guys in the audience answering, and there was a distinct no, there was a distinct yes, a distinct it depends.
Yeah.
And so there were all different ranges there from the guys in the audience.
And I'm sort of in all of those boats. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
It depends on sort of my mood. And I know that we've been in clubs where a woman was going down on a guy and doing that gagging thing, and I heard another woman go, well, that's hot, in a very derogatory way. And I'm like,
okay.
Do you not remember that?
No.
All right. Well, that was one of the clubs that we went to. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's a very negative thing to say.
And everybody
because some people,
everybody has something that they like.
Yeah, and everybody has a fetish that somebody else doesn't understand.
Yeah, don't judge.
So whatever. And what always cracks me up is this came from a swingers club. And the first thing that pops into my house is, people who live in glass houses.
Pops into your head, you mean? But yeah.
What did I say?
In your house.
Yeah, in my house, his house. That's where I live, is my head. Okay? People know me there. But the first thing that popped into my head was, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
That's true.
So anyway, but yeah, so that was good. And then somebody asked about teeth.
Yes.
Which again, I know I instantly piped up. I was like, a lot of people assume that teeth are a bad thing. I will be the first person to say that there's a time and place for everything, and I know you do it very well. Right around the not the crown, but of their head, the perineum. Is that the? You
mean like just under the lip, kind of?
Yeah. That area there. So you've got the little mushroom top on top of a stalk. You would think with as many penises as I've had in my hands, I would know what it's fucking called. But between the neck and the head, between the shaft and the head, that little area there, that right there, just a light touch of teeth on that is kind of amazing. So yeah, that's
time and place for it.
Time and place for everything.
Yep.
So yeah, it was. All in all, it was kind of awesome.
Yeah, it was a really good session. I think she did very well, covered a lot of ground in the time. She was very professional. There was a live demonstration.
Oh, yes, talk about that. Because we completely forgot about that. She actually had a live demo.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the live demo while you go make a nightcap, Mr. Adam. So Miss Jiff, she had her assistant come up, and she was going to demonstrate the male genital massage techniques that she had talked about earlier in the course. And so this poor guy, he was standing naked on a platform in front of 22 people that he did not know. And it had to have been intimidating. I felt a little bad for him, but, that's what he was there for. So he's up on this platform, and he started off soft, of course, and she went through all the different techniques and showed how to do those. She did not wear gloves. She was also standing kind of in front and to the side of him trying to do these. So they had to rotate around as she was doing the demonstration so that people on all sides could see. Because you did hear every now and again, can't see, can you turn around? So she would rotate to the other side. And and as a side note, that's also where being ambidextrous can help. So you can use your, left and right hands for a slightly different feel. I know for me, one hand is strength and grr, and the other hand is more finesse and dexterity. So when I am giving a hand job, it's a different feel depending on which hand I'm using. But I digress. It was interesting, though, as he's up on this platform and as she's demonstrating the different techniques, it was great to see his reaction because there were a few of the techniques that he was like, that's good. And then some of them he was like, oh, yeah. So it was really kind of awesome to see that. And again, for some of us that are more visual learners, it was nice to see it actually demonstrated in front. And so you could kind of get an idea as to how she was doing it more so than just reading it off of a piece of paper and hearing it as well. But it must have been difficult for him. He did very well. Kudos to him. So I would say all in all, the live demo was really great. It was a good way to end the class and to kind of recap everything as well. And overall, the class was very well put together. It was a great experience. I think that our secret spot and Miss Jiff did very well with it. And as we mentioned earlier at the very beginning of the podcast, they're going to be doing another one on Friday, October 28th. And this one will be on clitoral stimulation, G-spot massage, all the wonderful things that go along with that. And for that one, I'll be the live model that she's demoing on. So we'll see how that all turns out. And I think we're going to forgo a question this week, which means we'll have to double up another week. But yeah, thanks for listening to us here. And Mr. Adam is just returning, so he will tell you where you can find us and how to get in contact with us.
So we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. So everybody, you know how to get us. Find us, follow us on Twitter. We are The Atoms of Love, at The Atoms of Love. Email us, theatomsoflove@gmail.com. Find our website, www.buytheby.com.au. And you can find us wherever podcasts are sold. Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you found this one, you can find more of us, both past and present and future. Ooh. We're all tenses. So do us a favor, find us on the iTunes, give us a rating. I think Stitcher, you can give us a rating as well. We would really appreciate it. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to us on By the By.
Bye.